trying to deal with their own bullshit.
You exploit.
Yeah, and
You're a
you
pirate.
Yeah, you exploit the resources. Yeah, you get to you get to
I'm
deal
sorry.
with undead pirates. So
Nothing will ever trump Pirates Gold.
well, there's that.
Well, cool. Enjoy the game, man.
He has
I-
been. He's trying to recruit now.
Yeah, I am.
Stage
Join
3
me.
MMO.
Join
Yeah,
me
I get
in the new world.
I get one night of gaming a week. Sorry.
See, but D, doesn't that make you feel good? One night of gaming, he chooses to spend it with you.
That's just about what I provide. It's not really me.
I hear what you're not saying, Drew, but it's fine.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. D provides you with his deep, throbbing words.
Yes, I do. Well,
No, it just happens to be
And his-
Thursday's the only night I have that's free, and D just happened to claim that night.
Everybody
his-
wants the D.
and his turgid syntax.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
I used to go to a store for many years called Big D's, and Big D had some
They
Big
sell
D.
nuts.
Actually, I bought Mustang parts from him until he got shot.
Oh, that's not cool.
He was selling illegal parts out the back of his shop,
Oh, that's not cool either.
and he crossed the wrong people. And so his son took over, and his son was kind of a dick, but you know.
They love you.
New office.
Yeah.
Mhm.
How's it?
Same-
How's the new job? and
Same
everything?
office, but from the other side.
From a different angle.
It's very fun.
Okay, so Scott, the way that it's coming across when you have the lights on, actually even when you have the lights off, it looks like a fake background.
It looks like a fake background, right?
Yeah. Your camera's also like super smooth.
Yeah, no, that's not real. Sorry.
On shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
Watch as I step into the office.
Oh my god, he's in the background. How did you do that? What crazy
Photoshop.
tech do you have?
Oh my fucking god.
Yeah, Kim's been working real hard to make her office look great.
What are you exclaiming about, Ken?
I thought I'd have a nice leisurely little game of Destiny, and it's fucking intense.
You know, it's always when you think it's gonna be chill, and yeah, it's gonna take me 5 minutes. Next
Well, I
thing you
started
know,
30 minutes ago, and here I am. It's hard, dude. Like, I'm playing the new Legend, not new, but the Legend Shattered Realm,
yeah.
and it's like a little mini, like, Grandmaster Nightfall, like, thing.
Well, that pretty much says it all.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's why you're getting fucked.
Yeah, I'm getting fucked in the A.
Oh, by the way,
Who in the A? Where did we get to that at? I'm really confused.
Please don't make that the title of this episode.
No, I haven't titled it yet.
No,
Yeah, by
don't do anything about that because like we're actually doing
But-
an encounter this round.
by the way, Dayton, your Pokemon thing that you posted.
100%
excellent.
accurate.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, my daughter was like, yeah, Gordevar is a little too... And I was like, yeah.
A little too human.
It
Well,
was bad.
Yes,
Okay,
it
so
was.
here's the weird thing about being directly under an RGB light. Is it highlights my hair.
And that's a problem.
Well, I was
don't
in a
see-
meeting
well,
and I
you're
thought it
lucky
was
the
on
box.
white, and they're like, is your hair purple?
No, my hair is magnificent.
Right?
You should have just like
Put
had
it
it
on.
set to a strobe so it was constantly changing like that. Yeah. You're like, I got
So-
tech hair, man.
So I had this like this for like a professional meeting,
Uh huh.
and my
Oh,
manager outright, and I had the mustache
Oh, nice.
curled. My manager outright called me out in front of the higher ups, going, "Bill, what's going on? What? I can't keep my hair up." At which point, when the higher ups goes, what? He says, no. Bill's put up his hair because he's just feeding into it.
Yeah.
And then he goes, okay, you two are both going to have to explain. So I take out the bobby pin, release it, and he goes, oh.
Release the Kraken.
And then I just twirl it back up, bobby pin, and he's like, is that how you got hired?
Which higher ups are you talking to, Jake?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Jake is such a great guy.
Jake actually
from State Farm.
Jake kind of lost his shit after that.
Jake the Snake Roberts.
He actually, I think, worked with Big Farm.
He did. He actually did. Okay. Anyway. Bullshit aside.
Oh, I lost, so I'll have to try it again some other time.
You're like, I'm gonna do this right now, guys. I'll see you later.
Well, no. That would require all of my attention. I'd be just grunting. It's like
That's why it was funny to me, because I'm sitting there going like, yeah, I'm gonna do this instead.
Any of you guys upgraded to Windows 11 yet?
Not yet. I have it loaded, but I'm not going to do it towards the weekend because I'm not going to mess with my system with one more day at work.
Fair
Not
enough.
on Shadow's Night.
Not on Shadow's Night. Yeah, that's
No.
the more important thing.
One, not on Shadow's Night, and not another day with work because what could possibly go wrong with a Windows update?
Especially when you're doing a massive system update like that. It's pretty cool though.
I've got to play around with it with a couple clients. I mean, there's only like 3 direct conflicts that I've found with the programming of CMS and Windows 11
Yeah,
I'm sure there's
that
gonna
are
be more.
that are only mildly catastrophic. Anyway, go on.
Mildly That's so funny. That's an oxymoronic statement.
That's my gift to you.
Okay.
He's the gift that keeps on giving.
So anyway, I love my new job.
Good.
Speaking
Good.
of
And I've
herpes, let's
got
talk
a-
about work.
I've got to mete out, METE out my skill.
Nice.
I hear you're treasured already with getting slammed with like 40 different emails and so forth.
He's gonna get to it.
I just have to dole it out slowly.
Yes, you don't want to pinch off more than they can swallow.
I don't want to peak too soon.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you.
Dogging.
Yeah, little turtle head. Yeah, I just gotta
So many
Do it.
euphemisms.
do it in the little, once a week have like this something brilliant instead of like dropping a lot all at once.
Dropping a log? What?
I mean, he
You
does.
gotta
really
you
getting
gotta take
confused.
some corporate
Look,
fiber there.
he does it at least once a week.
That's some constipation, man.
That's what the coffee's for. You just regulate my body with bananas and coffee.
He's thrusting the issue at least once.
Berries and cream, berries and cream, berries.
Wow. Over sexualized Pokemon, strange shit jokes. I think we're off to a good start.
I don't know if
Welcome to
strange is the right
Shadows.
word. I think expected is the word you're looking for.
I mean, Ken brought back the dragon's fucking cars, so
Yeah, I actually scrolled upwards. I was looking for another GIF. but
yeah. Did you just catch yourself?
I saw it and I was like, oh, I gotta bring it back.
You know, the worst part of that GIF is that you can actually see the Wang coming through the windshield, and I didn't notice
yeah.
that at the first time I'd seen it.
Wait,
I
are you
was-
serious?
Yes.
That's the Shadows version of being Rickrolled, is being Dragon Dick
Dick rolled.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah,
See,
so...
I never saw it through the windshield.
Yep.
God damn
Then
it.
I caught it and I was just like, oh god, it got worse.
It's surprisingly and horrifyingly detailed.
A bit.
Well, and what I love is that somebody had to like render that for hours
Oh yeah, every single frame.
and like edit.
I'm just glad that we
Okay,
never
this
see the
GIF
point
is
of completion.
Time to the music.
Wow. Well, goddamn.
So we were building up to a big old 40K type fight.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
minis and dice scattered all over the table.
Yeah.
Our digital table.
This is part of the reason why I could never run a very like a super traditional D&D campaign with a massive battle like this. I can't imagine the amount of miniatures.
You guys
You'd have to
remember
just do a
my
bunch of-
case of minis?
Mm-hmm.
I had a whole like bag of holding and like, you know, big plastic tubs. This is just orcs. This is just skeletons. This is just, like. I made some kid very happy when I donated those to a gaming store.
I had somebody that I knew who actually 3D printed all of his like scenery and stuff by himself, and he painted all of it. He actually had large-sized totes stacked, double stacked, that were as tall as he was, and he was starting on another row. It was sort of halfway up, full of these things, and they were amazing, by the way, because they could actually roll together, and they had the little magnet balls in them, so you could just go clack and slap them together and stuff, and recreate
That's really
your
cool.
terrain. Yeah.
See, I had paper, like paper craft with cardstock and glue, and like I had made full dungeon walls and everything.
Yeah.
I didn't use foam or the crazy like dwarven forge stuff.
Yeah, he just
Those
3D printed
are insane.
It was cool because he actually grooved the squares so you could actually determine distance and
Nice.
such. So he actually had it all 3D printed
that's
into
cool.
it.
I know when Ken was sharing that like 3D printer stuff, I'm like, everything I've seen about 3D printing has either been printing minis or printing stuff for cosplay.
I mean,
Not
And then someone
making
pointed out-
weapons.
Someone pointed out
That's only in Germany.
printing tools. Like I need another, you know, exact size widget to fit in my workshop, so I'm just gonna print it myself. Printing, you know, socket wrench. That 10mm socket.
oh yeah, the one everyone's missing.
Okay. So how do we want to start tonight?
Well,
Last time in Shadows.
Yeah, it's a recap time.
I just got the Adam West Batman transition in my head. Yeah.
But it would be shadow, so it'd be like
Yeah.
Barrick and Ivar pissed off. A very
oh yeah, we need
unled
the
Russian.
Cora announcer.
Yeah.
Last time in Night City.
Well, you guys were standing atop this like platform with like a strongly, sorry, my words are getting all scrambled for some reason. An immense monolith. That's all I wanted to say. You've got the sands of the desert and everything else kind of going on in and around you, and you just finished. You just finished the meeting with Death. Now, more or less, the idea is that Death will coordinate forces to whatever location you have. Given her resources, it's likely that she will know where without having to tell her. But she will see if she cannot get these two to work together.
Also, when the cult was going to split, because the cult is going to split right off the bat. So he's going to use the Ring of Division, and it's going to be Bastard and the cult. But
Even the cult was like leaving.
but also it's
See you later,
it's,
guys.
It's going to be the general,
Oh, nice.
and the general is going to stay back behind doing the tactics rolls.
That would be good. That would be smart. I like it. All right. So now that everybody's gotten themselves sort of in a position to, make their move, it's a matter of Violet pushing all of the arms and armament into the Silk Road to the point where you will begin to attract. Is that Benedict?
Yeah.
Questions on general logistics on how this is going tonight, because we have never played with this large of an entourage. Are we adding certain things into the play order? Like the artillery goes at this time? Is it just kind of a
It's going to
ad-lib?
be kind of interesting. You guys were going to be playing in an extraordinarily diverse environment, meaning that what you're going to wind up getting...
Still listening.
What you're going to wind up getting into is that your scenery and environment will actually have lots of random happenstance. There could be a lot of crap that goes on during your turns. So it's not going to even really include anyone like Violet or anything else. It'll just be your party acting as a singular group in your individual turns. But the shit that happens around you, that's where it gets interesting, because percentage-wise, you could wind up being nearer an explosion than you might expect, or taking an onslaught group, or anything else that goes along those lines. So it's... God damn it.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah. This is... You guys have never done a battle with me before. I hope it's crazy.
I'm
And
pretty certain it
just
will be.
Take notes on the mechanics for the CRB.
I feel like this is the scene in Back to the Future. All right, guys, here's what we're doing. I'm going to do it here, and you just keep up.
Well, I mean, more to Scott's point, this is us playtesting a mechanic.
Yeah.
And Ken, Ivar definitely... Like, Ivar just walks over without saying anything, just walks by and just grabs the gauntlet and goes, "Hey, wish
Yeah, I
you
want to make
luck."
sure I'm topped off.
So you basically see the cult after his shifting of, I gotta get, sorry, after his
Eric's charging up his bracelet.
yeah. The disturbance of the basically death, just like fracturing him. You just kind of see him shift a little bit, and then all of a sudden he splits into three.
Uh-huh.
So you see the bastard, and then you see John, and then you see like another gentleman that you haven't seen for a while. And he's just like dressed like Pat, and he's smoking cigars. So, looks like we're going to have ourselves a little bit of a war.
Of course, you got Violet looking at you with a cocked eyebrow. She's just like, well, that's interesting.
It's Colt's version of the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost.
Well, young lady, it looks like we're going to have ourselves a little bit of a game. I'm glad you brought the bait, because we're going to have some fun tonight. What do you dogs say?
Hoorah.
I like you, son. You're my people.
You've got
I'm
Richard.
gonna let you fuck my daughter.
You've got Richard at one side of the table, just kind of looking at that, kind of like, okay, didn't know we could do that. Let me guess. And he basically assesses the attire of the general. It's like, you're gonna be working tactical or something, right?
Well, if they didn't say you weren't the brightest tack in the bunch, you might be on point.
He just nods his head. He's like, all right. And Dravis is like,
And says, "Is you a good soldier?"
And he's like, I do exactly what I'm supposed to do. I kill the enemy. That's it.
Fantastic. I love you too. Time to die, son.
Alright, so Dravis is like, do we have comms with everybody here so we can coordinate what we need?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Firestorms made that possible.
And it's like, he like nods his head. Alright, well the next question is this. Who actually has military experience besides that gentleman?
No one, go on, I'll wait.
And he's like, okay, I guess that leaves me then. Any of you have ever been in a fight large enough to actually handle certain combat maneuvers before? At all?
Well,
Ivar lived on streets of Night City. That's like combat every night.
He kind of just eyeballs you from the side, just sort of like, funny.
and you just see the general just go, "Son, were you ever at the Battle of the Bulge? 'Cause I was."
Ivar have bulge.
I knew that was coming.
You got moxie, son, but you can shut the fuck up.
It's like, I believe the general might agree. We're going to have to stay tight together as a unit. We're going to have to coordinate and make sure our attacks have meaning. Worse than that, we don't know exactly what we're dealing with or how to actually weaken the enemy. We've got advantages like terrain, and we're going to be able to make it work with a lot of extra firepower. But if we don't figure out how to weaken, because I'm assuming he's probably not going to have the same kind of thing going on that the other ones did, we're going to have to keep our eyes open and peeled.
Oh, you're exactly right. It's about ego, son.
Well,
The enemy's ego. We're gonna trap the bait. We're gonna bring him in. We're gonna make him sweat. And the more we can make him sweat, the more he'll get pissed off. The more he gets pissed off, and I think we'll have him exactly where we want him.
And is the plan the same? Trap him,
Well,
get him weak.
no
Get him
plan
trapped.
ever. No plan ever survives the initial conflict, son. But yeah, we're gonna put him in them there box that well, the degenerate over there has.
Yeah. We just kind of
Ivar at this moment has the box and he has it open and he's talking to it. Think of just like Golem talking to the ring right now. And he's just having this private conversation with the crystal.
Well, more to my point, he's just kind of got it there. So I mean, here's the thing, Boyd, you present?
Well, he just kind of looks over from the side, just kind of peeking around. He's like, I am here.
Well, good. And you know how to piss off your brother?
That's not the main problem.
Oh,
Finding
well-
the actual central core of his being will be the issue. As you
No,
understand,
now.
he can actually multiply himself in a great deal, which is why you've
Now,
bought all this.
now tell me, how are we going to get him to centralize himself?
I believe that is my job then. I will be able to sense where his central core will be, but it'll be heavily protected. And we should watch ourselves carefully about the casualties we take. He will have no trouble whatsoever being able to amass his own resources. He's been left alone in purgatory for an extended period of time. I don't know exactly how long he can go, but we will have to get to him no matter what. This will be a desperate action for everyone.
So the general takes a big draw of cigar. Well, John, that seems you and your misfits will be on point on that one. So y'all have fun, because I know I will.
So, Dravis raises his hand once more and says like, anyone object to me being the field team leader for this? At all?
John just kind of looks and says like, fuck, the general's gonna deal with the artillery and shit. Whatever. Just fucking point.
And he's like,
I take orders, so
And you
no
look-
problems here.
he's like, Riv, I realize that you probably have a lot of itches to scratch, but try not to scratch too many of them.
Bastard kind of chimes in. It's like, oi, I don't fucking care as long as I get to fuck somebody up. I mean, shit.
Riv
I
just
bet
points at Bastard when he's like,
I have been looking to take the piss out of somebody for a long, long time.
And as you're saying that, a hole in time and space opens up, and Ivar's hand comes through with a glass filled.
And he goes, poop, poop.
It's not your special vodka, is it?
You know what?
No,
At least
I
it's
give
not
this.
piss.
Well,
And he looks over at
Well, we
Ivar
need
finally, and he just, he's just sort of like, oh shit. Alright, look, Ivar, you're probably the most important chess piece we've got. If we're going to be the ones that are moving in with the prototype and the rest of it, we have to be able to cut through whatever he throws up, and you're basically our secret nuclear weapon, since you can kind of do whatever the hell you want. So we're gonna have to make
Ivar
sure that you
listened
stay
to
alive.
voices in Ivar's head. What were you saying? Ivar was listening to the voices in his head.
Stay in the center. Just try to follow my suggestions whenever it comes down to it, alright?
For this evening's fun and entertainment, Ivar's disadvantage of hallucination will be coming up.
I like that you.
And it will take place as the voices in his head. Because why not? Ivar just
Nobody likes a clean fight.
Yeah. Ivar's just kind of like nodding right now, in between staring at the box. And he's like, Ivar, make things happen. Quick question here. I don't know if we have time for this, but Ivar had started making a sonic dampener charm out of a crystal, but had failed, but had the crystal. Is there any possibility of him imbuing that before we head into this fight with the ability to decrease any mental damage?
Of imbuing the crystal?
Yeah.
The problem is if you meddle with any part of it, its cosmic geometry will shift, meaning that the crystal will become less effective.
Okay. Well, it was never fully established. It was like he was working on it and just couldn't quite figure it out.
Yeah, if you were to try to do something on the fly right now, that would probably weaken your chances of having it be totally effective.
Okay. Not a problem.
Alright, so, with Violet just kind of like, well, I think we have something of a plan. We're just gonna have to run in there head first. Nothing quite like doing a face check. We all ready, gentlemen? Lady?
Let's do it.
Alright, y'all.
The general kind of pops up and says, "I'm in." Well, and lady, all this stuff you hear about what we're doing is not about wanting to fight. It's wanting to stay out of a war. It's a lot of bullshit. We love to fight. It's all the real people here, loving the sting and the clash of battle. When you were kids, you admired the champions, marbled shooters, the fast runners, the big league ball players, and the toughest boxers. Well, we love winners, and we'll not tolerate a loser. So don't be a loser. We play to win, all the time. That's what we do. We have never lost, and we will never lose a war. The very thought of losing is hateful to us. Battle is the most significant competitors and man will indulge in. It brings out and all's the best and removes all that is base. I stand with you, and I ask that you stand with me. Forever and forward. And no more of this chicken shit drilling. Get your asses in gears and roll through.
It's just kind of like, all right then, and starts
Well,
moving
Riv's
forward. Yeah,
Riv's already like halfway down the road. Like,
yeah. So you guys will all take out there. Void walks up to Violet, loud enough speaking so that most of the people near her can hear it. And he's like, "I'll be able to actually pinpoint where he's keeping his center. That way, I can have it coordinated to the rest of you when the time comes."
So
Before everybody heads off to battle, I think Ivar is going to attempt to put almost like a shield around each individual, sort of a kinesthetic shield that will give them a little boost as long as they're within his bubble of influence, of like almost like the gift of Ivar, but it's some sort of just magical shield that will negate, almost like to negate direct insults. I think he's done it before where he's always tried to force things around it as he bent reality around the people. He's trying this time to do that, but give it to each person individual versus like a bubble close to him. Just you can move in his radius, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, he's just trying to create a protective field within his field of influence.
Yeah, but for each of our main characters that are
Mm-hmm.
Now, quick question. John has the scarf wrapped around the crystal blade,
Yeah.
and since they're both blades in and of themselves, what would he need to roll to combine them? Like if he's like just like drawing it and then letting the scarf just wrap its around the crystal blade to kind of become one. What?
He doesn't really
magic
need to.
roll
They would superimpose over each other. He's not really dealing with true matter whenever he ignites that blade up. It just does shit to it. And
Okay.
So you literally just summon the blade and they kind of become interlaced. You actually would see a strobing of the real blade in the shadow.
Okay, so that's what he does. Is he draws the blade, and you see that like crystalline blue blade, and like a black shadow just kind of wrap around it, as enfolds it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, would that combine their might, or?
Well, it's like two swords in one. You basically have like you have the damage of the actual scarf and the sword itself. So.
Okay. So
Like-
he has the blade drawn.
Mm-hmm.
So, D, whenever Ivar has done mirror reflection, which sends anything thrown at him back,
Mm-hmm.
it's been a target 8, but he's always kept that as more of like a reflexive Ivar, just like, oh!
Yeah.
But he has done a reality bend where he takes different objects that are within a space and he like expands it out. I think in this attempt he's trying to expand that same concept of mirror reflection, but to isolate it around the Colt, Riviera, Barrack, Ivar, Dravis. I don't think Death needs anything.
Well, he's going to be a part of the fight, but he's going to be sort of distant from your party or group. Because, like I said, you guys would be operating independently with them as support.
Yeah, so I'm just curious what the target would be to...
Oh, 10, easily. That's a lot.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And Colt and John is going to do the exact same thing. Like, do you remember Doctor Strange adding the armor?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what my thought
What I
was. But
trying to do.
Oh,
Ivar was sitting there, but in his hallucinations, he thinks he achieved it. He goes, look, you should all be safe now.
So John will do the exact same thing because I was actually gonna.
One thing, because he botched, and if he truly thinks he's done it, there could be some serious consequences for that.
Oh, goody. Definitely.
If he
let's definitely
botches,
go on to
yeah, that means that there could be some things happening right now as Paradox starts to build up and crack. So I'm gonna leave it like he may be hallucinating, but are you gonna want to use any luck to just make it a 0 as opposed to a botch?
Well, here's the question. Is the cult aware enough in his stuff to realize that Ivar has completely lost it and thinks he's achieved something that like is not there?
Well, Colt's doing this at the exact same time, so it's target 10, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, goody.
So we're going to use some luck to bump that up to 1 success.
Okay. Well, see, the thing about that is that if the paradox crashes now, it's going to be pretty severe. Like I'm talking, like there could be chasms and fissures opening up, or all kinds of reality fractures. He would notice that.
so would Colt counterbalance it though?
If he's got 1 success, he's still got a -1 as a botch. He has to meet or accelerate past that.
Okay.
He'd need 2 successes or 3.
Okay, so I'm going to use 3 luck to give 2 successes.
You guys are doing a coordinated casting, which is lucky. Alright, so nothing adverse happens, but, as far as John's concerned, something, like, tilted in the balance of the reality that you were in for a second, and that causes you to be exhausted. Like, you go to do that, and you realize that there's, like, this sudden implosion heading towards Ivar, and you managed to stop it before it occurred, but it took a lot out of you to prevent that from happening.
John kind of crunches over going, Ivar? Please, don't fuck this up. Please.
Let's boss.
I don't.
Is when Ivar summons an actual dragon into the world.
Is someone talking to Ivar?
All right. So, everybody will be, because you guys are just walking off the monolith at this point. He's just doing all kinds of casting. You guys just barely avoided some serious catastrophe. When you finally come back through, Sebastian pushes the door open, but he uses a series of locks, and it'll become apparent to all of you, actually, that the locks are not just merely for single access point and then, open that to the same place. He can reiterate various locks or use entirely different combinations to have the door open into entirely different sections of the Silk Road by itself, depending on what combination he's using. Because the moment he finishes that combination, the door widens quite extensively. And then when it does open up, you're looking out not at the strange sort of cobbled forested road that you had come in on. You're actually looking at a much wider pathway that's leading to a certain section, and Violet just nods to Sebastian. As you guys come out, you see the sky is being ripped apart by lightning clouds undulating at rapid rates, kind of like a furious storm that you've never seen, because it's almost like the sky itself is made from like smoky waves. They're just undulating out from all the different lightning that's occurring. There's still plenty of actual light for you guys to work with, but it's that dull gray that kind of bleaches the color out of everything. When you emerge...
Barrick has no idea about any potential magical mishaps that just happened. He's just like...
Nope.
Looking over his kit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Colt issued a warning, but you guys end up walking into a large column of forces that are now being manned mostly by those strange orcish creatures, most of them on the armored vehicles and things like that. Strangely enough, it's almost as if you were looking at some kind of a strange movie crossover, because you have the black-furred, heavily tusked, monstrously built creatures, most of which are sitting on top of these armored vehicles inside of the vehicle-mounted weapons, and they have like the little monocles on, but they're actually like driving them and everything like that. And so they're sort of in contrast to the high technology that's being issued in this particular armed force.
That's really funny.
So I kind of posted a meme.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically the bastard walking in forward first. He's doing the doing the Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
And as he walks through, he just goes, "Oi, fucker! I know you can hear me. Come on and let's play. You know you want to, you little fucking..." And then he says the C word.
Every time I've ever thought of the bastard, that's who I think of. Practically every time.
Yeah,
Haircut, mannerism, all of it, yeah. You've got Richard. He's like, "I'm going to go ahead and make sure that we can get this terrain figured out." Void is walking with Violet at this point when you guys step out into this rocky plateau faced with these huge gnarling spires of stone that actually reach hundreds of feet tall in most areas. It's wide open but level. Void just happens to shimmer and vanish.
Wow. What were you rolling there, Bill?
That's the general rolling a 35 for tactics.
I will get to the general here in a moment, because that's a hell of a roll, so that'll give you guys a bit of a slight advantage there. Whenever Void vanishes, there is this kind of dull thump, kind of like thunder, but you don't see the lightning responsible for it, but it also seems to emerge from everyone around him whenever he just does that. But you can see a tinge of something happening, like he's imbuing or enveloping the very terrain that you guys are walking on. There's a lot of noise. These vehicles are rolling by. You've got shouts going across from the strange creatures that Violet employs. There is just a lot of commotion happening. You can even hear some of these, there's a lot of bots as well that are walking sidelong to the vehicles, and they're walking in perfect formation, all of which are actually from Arasaka. There's probably, and looking at the sheer number of them, close to 150 to 200 of these bots all just kind of moving along. Whatever Mr. Douglas had as far as his general reserves are concerned, there's a reason why he ran out of cash so fast.
But yeah, I forgot about those things.
Yep. There were a lot. There are also more of these strange orcish-like beasts that are moving on ground. They have their shoulders sort of hunched forward. They have weapons. They're not really carrying the smaller ones because they're much larger in size. So they're holding a lot more kind of, like the grenade launchers and the heavier type weapons, that kind of thing. And then they are brandishing all sorts of horrific-looking melee weaponry so that whenever they run out of their munition, they'll just go charging into the fray themselves to beat down whatever enemy they find.
Good old purgatory.
Yep. Violet looks over at Sebastian. Again, you guys are mostly within earshot. She's like, Sebastian, are we sure this is the location that we are going to be able to actually meet him on? He just nods his head. More than anything else, he's been the most predictable about this particular area. I'm certain he'll show. Don't you worry. She nods her head again. Good. She reaches up to her earpiece. Make sure everyone's in position. Now all we have to do is wait. And they start rolling forward and everybody's alongside all this stuff. You guys are kind of impressed. There's an energy in the air that is much different than normal. Usually there's an anticipation before a fight of any kind. Usually you have to wait, but this is purely electrified. You've got everything in this whole space gearing and ready to go, waiting for this creature to appear.
Good pre-game energy.
And you got the general just like smoking a cigar, looking like the happiest you could imagine a man like him ever could be, going, God damn, I love the smell before a good battle. Mm.
What's Ivar's danger sense?
Gets a man's dick hard.
Your danger sense is pushed up to like, what was your maximum level again?
He's a level 4.
Right. Yeah. So God damn it, Scott. Thank you.
It's Barrick's reaction.
Oh God. Anyways, stupid. They all start to move out now. The dangers that you're picking up, Ivar, it's pretty high. You're feeling it sort of trembling upward to where it's beginning to escalate. It's the further out along this sort of dull, like, as you roll out to this point where it's like, kind of an open space, there seems to be some kind of mild entrenchments. You can tell that this is kind of idealized because the way that there are pits, natural pits, and minor plateaus and the stonework that are all through here, you're going to be standing behind what looks to be like some lowered ridges and things like that, which will provide certain amounts of cover. And as you get closer to this particular position, your sense of danger is going up. It is increasing steadily.
And mix with that a -3 hallucination level.
Yeah. Don't you worry.
Okay.
I hope we all don't die.
Yeah, this could be the end.
It could be.
What a glorious end it'll be.
It'll be fucking crazy.
I have like 7 more lives. We're good.
Yeah, Barrick will survive it. He's fine.
Yeah, Barrick will survive.
Approach.
And realistically, most of us have backup characters.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. To lose him now, though, how fucking honorific would that be?
I am Larry Barrick, Barrick's cousin.
I can drink more than
parts. I just downloaded back into his body.
I can drink way more than the last Barrick, and my guns out of my arm are way bigger.
All right, so
Awesome.
you guys are filtering in. You can see the armored vehicles are taking up positions. You have the robotic troops that are pushing out towards the front of it. They are keeping a firing line, and you also have a certain number of scouts that are moving out to the sides They're also the bots as well, but they're keeping. You can see that they can move insanely fast. You can see thrusters at their lower back and their calves, and they can push forward with balancing thrusters at the shoulders and back. So they can shove on. They can just like almost blast off, going into various sections, looking for any kind of possible intrusion or issue, doing threat assessments of the general area.
Hey, Firestorm.
You hear crackling for a minute, and it's like just a minor bit of feedback in here. It's like, ooh, that was uncomfortable. Yes.
Are you able to connect with these Arasaka bots?
And it's like, I can give you coordination. Ultimately, their command protocols are actually set to Violet, though. I can override that if you need to.
I don't need to override, but I'm just wondering if there's a way that we can have a nice AI from a horrific hellscape such as you, who's got experience with matters like this.
Well, send that boy on over to me. I know what to do with them lads.
Maybe we could break off a little excursion team, like 10.
Well, he's like, I can put in that request, no problem. I can get that done for you right now, in fact. He's like,
Sometimes you need a little van to drive a wedge.
never hurts.
About how much artillery would you say we have?
How much artillery? You mean like in terms
Yeah.
of vehicles or overall heavy ordnance?
Overall heavy ordnance vehicles, everything included, that are being basically run by the orcs.
Well, right now, you've got about 25 heavy armored vehicles with mounted 50 caliber weapons on each. You have 175 bots from Arasaka that are left available to you, all armed with larger battle rifles, 7.62. Yeah. Let's see what I'm looking at here.
Okay, I was just making sure I wasn't overblowing what we have.
No. So you have 175 robotic troops, all Arasaka. These are the these are shock troops. Good man. I need to get more Reese's, although I should probably stay away from those. I'm going to get so fat.
Fat.
I'm saving my kids' teeth by taking this burden upon myself.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
kidding.
I forgot that I stole specific pieces. So I'm driven between the candy I've stolen from my children in this game.
You also have
I didn't
100.
steal it. There was a candy tax in my house.
You have 100 orc berserkers at your disposal, all carrying an assortment of grenade launchers and other heavier weapons. They are ground troops, so you have 275 ground troops in total on that front. The most important element here, though, would be you guys standing aside with various commanders, all of those being Richard, Violet, the general. You also have Void, who's kind of keeping himself sort of interspersed amongst the terrain.
I literally have filled up a whole page of just who individuals are and what they're doing.
Keep
So-
track.
And the
Put on lock.
and the general get their own, and the bastard get their own separate line item.
Mhm.
So when we finish this campaign, can we use your notes as a vehicle to create a book?
I actually was thinking about that tonight. I
Yeah.
bet we could probably easily turn each of these pages into at least 10, 15 pages of actual like dialogue and prose and narration.
Side note. Sorry. Didn't mean
Yeah.
to track.
I mean, that's why else do you think I'm becoming a writer? Or not becoming, it's like why I'd like to do writing anyway. I'm becoming a writer! Whoop, I've
Suddenly.
transformed. Yeah. So, yeah, so that's what we're looking at now.
Thank you.
Well,
Oh, there it is.
yep. So,
He's staying it on this time.
god damn. The Buseys, dude, are fucking gnarly. Oh my god. Why? Alright.
Touche, Scott. Touche.
When I hear that music, that's what happens.
Oh, I forgot about that scene. Oh. So, yeah, you're going to be pushing through. There is a crackle in the near distance out in front of where you guys had expected it to be. It kind of rolls across. Now, again, the terrain that you're in right now seems to have been reinforced in some capacity. You don't know how, but you can feel Void's presence amongst all of the stonework reaching out. From that standpoint, it looks like there is a certain solidification of it, like it can't transmute, transform, change under your feet or anything else like that. There is, when that crackle happens, you can hear a lot of the Orcish warriors just kind of like doing that low rumble across all of them as the excitement levels kind of peak up. There is a few like rapid commands that get pushed out from Violet as she's standing up there. Now, from what you can tell, General, there is a point of contact that is materializing maybe 300 yards directly at 12 o'clock of the armed forces. But when you're looking around, you notice that there are multiple other cracks that are starting to sunder out from right and left hand side of your fire teams and of the main group. There is one thing about it, though, is that the one on the left does not appear to be of the same origin as the one directly ahead and off to the right side of the forces.
What does that mean to him?
Well, based on what you can guess, you're looking at possible attempted flank immediately at the outset of this fight.
So, he looks at Violet. Goes, well, Miss De La Rosa, are you seeing what I'm seeing? And he goes, boom. And then he slows his hand and goes, boom. I would suggest maybe 25 of them there Arasakas and some of your, shall you say, stalwart Orcish companions to deal with that flank.
And she just looks over there. She's like, I think that's reasonable. She hits the earpiece again. She's like, shock troops 25 to our 3 o'clock. And you can see they section out and start moving in that direction. What happens to the left, at the other side, there is this kind of strange, kind of like funnel type shape that appears, and then it swirls into a partial dome that sits over the top landing. None of the other ones are doing that. From outside of this dome, you're seeing these individuals start to move through at a walking steady point. And it's interesting what happens to be there. You can see demonic entities and angelic forces all emerging at this particular point. Most of the angelic forms have that pale skin, almost looking like alabaster or marble. They are carrying weapons of brutal force. They have maces and morning stars, lots of ancient style medieval weaponry. A lot of them are carrying sort of like silvery like cudgels and that sort of thing. They have these wings that are dark and gray that are not like pure white like they should be. Some of them even have like an eruption of mild like coal and flames coming from out of them as they're walking. You can see like the heat waves rising off of the backs of them. You have the demonic forces, which are embodiments of various forms. You can see the sultry, lust-filled versions of incubus and succubus almost, as they're coming out there, not really wearing much in the way of armor. A lot of them have like these collars that are spined up and around their throats. Most of them are carrying slender weapons like swords and things of that like. You even see them carrying like holy weapons, in fact, because their hands are smoking whenever they grip onto them. And they're sort of lithe forms that are pushing out. There are others that are from what appears to be like what Colt would recognize as the Plains of Wrath. They are like heavily armored, massively spiked, fuming with anger and fire all the way through. And they're moving in this like even row, set in columns separate to each force. You don't know how many are filing out, but they are pouring out of this portal right now.
Wow, looks like that's a good sign.
There is another crack of what would almost be like thunder. Y'all be feeling it. That secondary that crack in the air becomes the shockwave that pushes out across the stonework, and you can see it push like mild debris up into the air in a small gust. When that happens, there is this cracking, like in the reality in of itself, like you're breaking a mirror. And then this dark hand comes plunging out and through, looking quite leathery in its appearance. And when that happens, it retracts, causing a lot of those shards to implode inwards, creating this sort of, like, almost the same as what you would see in the sky above, but different, in that it is multiple colors and the rest of it, strangely enough, the visualization kind of works, but it has that coloration to it, which much more crackling energy in behind that. What coils out of this thing is something that you guys vaguely remember from your own memories the first time you had seen it, as the central body is this undulating form that is constantly mutable, with gaping mouths and various limbs and all forms tentacles just kind of coming out, with its central main body being this kind of upward, almost candle flame like. And it starts to just whip out. Doesn't say much, but you can hear this unearthly shrieking coming from it, and it starts to actually put itself out, multiplying. Its forces come at you in such fast speed, there's no way to stop them from coming out like a waterfall. You see all of these entities emulating creatures that you had seen in other ways. They are emulating the creatures that they see before them. You can see vaguely orcish-like shapes, vaguely robotic-type shapes, and somewhat humanoid shape. They're all just kind of amorphous in a sense, but they're not ethereal or vaporous like the last one that you saw. They even have the strange kind of like mouthing structures that go along their bodies. They're all screaming in the same way as they come forward. Yeah, the sound would become ear-piercing if it wasn't for the various like distance and some people with cyberware.
Is this on the right side or center?
That's coming straight ahead from your 12 o'clock. That's the main force coming up. The one that's happening on the right is very similar, but it's unusual. It's not cracking in the same way.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Yeah, they all come shrieking. Now, of course, they get within roughly around like the 200 meter range. The whole firing line just lights the hell up before they have
in distance.
Yeah. And so you guys are like, the shrieking becomes completely overshadowed by the flash and muzzle fire from all of these troops going across. You have roars coming up from all of the Orcish as well as they're going doom 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 doom. You just see all smoke coming out. There are blasts coming up at the same time. The explosions are rending whatever these forms are completely to dust. You're even seeing some of that debris and shrapnel skipping across the stonework. You see one of the actual bots gets hit across the shoulder and it bounces off one of the trucks as it's skittering across. What the hell's that even from? It looks like somebody from Dumb and Dumber.
That's MacGruber. Basically the Dumb and Dumber.
It is.
Yeah.
That was the Porsche that cut him off, and he remembers the license number of the entire movie.
Oh my god, what the fuck? These chips are amazing.
That's awesome.
So, it is, like I said, it's just spawning these things. Now, the way that it was happening from before, you don't really recall, but you can see from the gaping mouths and the rest of it, Averthral begins to shrink down and massing himself amongst this group, right? So all this fire is happening. You're just seeing the... Man, these chips are distracting the shit out of me. But he's like coiling down. You can still see the rising tentacles coming up from the top, but you would notice that he's birthing these units from like out of all these mouths, just regurgitating them at rapid speed. Back on stream. So you're meeting this force head on, and they are charging completely without any sensibility to themselves whatsoever. As they get taken down, more burst from behind, and they just start to rush that line. Now, of course, unexpectedly, the the Orcish troops are actually laying down enough ordnance fire that it's slowing that assault, allowing the firing line to actually push it through, but they are clambering over the tops of each other. You're seeing body parts, bits, gore, ichor just kind of flying up along with all of the actual, like, the heated stone and the rest of it. You've got Dravis standing in front of the rest of you guys. Now, you guys are going to be positioned in a part of a truck near one of these crenellations that actually allows you to sort of stay covered. And you hear Void over comms, somehow or another, or maybe it's not, you can't really tell, but you can hear his voice. He's like, his core has been separated. He's keeping it aside to hide it from me. I will let you know. The forces on set will not be able to stop. You'll have to lay down everything you have. Violet just kind of looks around. She's like, acknowledged? She just kind of like puts her hand up and it's like, don't let that line get any closer. What do we have on the right-hand flank? And you can see that they're just standing there waiting. That crackling hasn't stopped, but the other forces themselves are still kind of monitoring it, not sure what to do with it. Alright. Right now it's just the onslaught. Your guys' group is just waiting for the word. It takes a moment. Let me roll. Ooh. Void pushes in. He's just sort of like, I have it locked into place. I'm communicating with your AI. And if he's saying this loud enough, but quietly enough somehow that you can still hear it, even over all the gunfire. As he's doing that, there is, like another precipitous explosion. One of the actual bots gets taken out by, like, oncoming shrapnel that comes your guys' way. You just see it get taken out and just kind of lands in a heap.
Because my cat's not spoiled enough.
Right? Alright. It's like, I got it locked onto. What do you need to have? What is it, coordinates? And then Firestorm's just like, ah, God, let me take over. Dravis, I'm going to point you in that right direction, sending nav points. And you can actually see, like, there's, like, in your own Times Square marquee, Barrick, you get that whole thing, where it's like, it shows up a nav point, and Dravis is like, you get it?
Yep.
And it's like, we're going to have to move in close. Ivar,
It's
you're...
like when I used to play Halo.
And it's like, hey, use what works. And you like,
hey,
it's like,
I remember that game.
in the midst of this fucking fight.
Pizza rolls and Limp Bizkit and Halo and Jinkos. Ah, my childhood.
Nothing but, and you just see like the bastard go, oh yeah, I like my Fago.
You've got Violet up top going, so like, we've received it from Firestorm as well. I'm organizing troops to give you a clear point. You guys have the nav point. You see all of these bots like coordinate automatically in a certain direction. They start laying down concentrated fire, laying that point out. And it's like, we've got covering fire. You can move ahead.
Quick question, just
Yes.
so for posterity, where exactly is this nav point on the field of battle?
Well, in this case, you guys are going to be standing, so the main force is centered close to the 12 o'clock. You guys are going to be moving to the 1 to 1.5.
Got it.
And be pushing over in that direction. Yep.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep. You got
Ivar
Dravis.
is kind of looking up, and Ivar is looking around going, did someone say something to me?
He's like, Ivar, we need something defensive now. We're going to move. I'm going to roll here for a minute. Huh. Alright, so you do hear those same voices going around in your head. They're whispering all kinds of things inside the back of your mind. You even see, like, a park with a small, like, rotating carousel moving around. Despite the gunfire and the rest of it, there's this little girl who's, like, swiveling around and playing on the playground. And you have Dravis that's trying to communicate with you. Ooh-hoo-hoo.
Nice.
Hello,
nice.
little girl.
Nice! Every fucking
I have
time.
not
How does she always
seen
get
you
what's
in-
needed? Dude, that guy was such a great enemy. I loved him.
So that's the.
Oh, he was great.
That's the bastard.
Where's my bird?
The bastard's leading the forefront, going like lashing chains.
Yep.
Ivar at this moment is trying to talk to the little girl, like, "Hello, little girl. You should not be here. It's very dangerous."
She seems to continue to sing and play on that merry-go-round, that little thing swirling like the old parks do. You've got Dravis who comes up in front and is like, "Ivar!" like that, just shouting in your head, in your face.
Does the little girl seem to be at all threatened? Like, is she, like, superimposed over this whole battle?
Yeah, she's basically there. Your focus and field of information is kind of, like, really kind of narrow to this. Like, you're aware that this battle is happening, but you're really not paying attention to it. This girl seems to be more focused in.
I want to make sure she's safe. And so Ivar just reaches out and kind of goes like this.
Uh-huh.
And in doing so, what Ivar wants to summon is almost a void that separates our troops from theirs. So if the troops are coming towards us, they're just falling into a void that goes into nothingness in his hopes that he can save this little girl.
Right.
What would the target be for Ivar to put something down? So almost something of a void at a space that would protect the our troops while damaging as much damage as possible upon the enemy, all while in his head he's protecting this little girl. He's like, "I will save you, little girl," and he just...
It's going to be an 8, so not terrible. Actually, oddly enough, it's going to be a 7, because you're more like, I know what I'm doing. I've got one person to save. It's actually a lot less chaotic than what's happening around you, oddly enough. Nice.
And so, yeah, so Ivar's sitting there like, I'm presuming Dratus is yelling at him, but Ivar is just kind of like, "I will save you, little girl. Watch out for the danger out there." And he's just like trying to save this girl.
Right.
And what does a 2 of the void bring?
Basically, it brings back a small amount of reflective damage to those who try to fire into it, but you guys are going to be very closely knit together, so you have this sort of weirdly translucent barrier out the front. Dravis, of course, starts looking like, "Finally, let's go!" like that. He starts moving it forward because he gets too loud to be quiet. Of course, at this point, you guys are crawling up. You've got Riv who like puts her hand up there. She comes up out of that crenellation, and she's like just all going dark skinned with that granite like that, becoming much darker.
That's good.
God damn, that's like the best meme I've ever seen of Varix. When you guys emerge, this is where it's going to get interesting. Alright, let's see how you guys go. Woohoo! Whoa! Alright, let's have you guys roll the initiative that you guys are going to need.
Combat sense awareness.
2 different things.
I know, right?
Oh, shit.
Damn, Riv! She's going balls out.
Riv is quite aware.
Yeah.
Still think
She's
of
got a 31.
What do you see?
Yeah.
Dice don't lie.
Never gets a 1, which is just perfect.
Yeah, that's the way it should be anyway. He's got combat paralysis.
I was hoping that either he rolled a 10, and because of the hallucinations, he forgets that he has combat paralysis.
I might have almost gone for that for a critical success. I might have.
But better yet, the hallucinations are adding to the paralysis now.
Alright, and then we have... Okay. Alright, so this is how this is going to go. Alright, Riv, you are up first. You can see that there is a swelling mass that is starting to come your way. These troops are starting to, like, crouch out, so they are running over what might be considered some of their dead, and the rest of it, it's creating pitted mounds of their corpses as you're trying to push through. One of them actually becomes like a flow of water, comes rushing around one of these mounds. You can see a swell of their number coming away at your left flank. So from you guys are headed at that 1 o'clock. It's closer to that 12, but you're on the outside edge. And you still have that translucent point, but they start to merge, and like ferocious animals, they just come barreling over whatever they can see, trying to come at you one at a time, or like just as a flood. So they're trying to come at you. You're gonna go ahead and roll whatever you've got for your hand-to-hand melee, whatever you need, if you would please, because they are going to try and smash you to the ground.
This is defensive rolls.
Mm-hmm.
And I just roll for dodge or melee. Like
you're going to roll for. Well, if you dodge, it's not going to stop them from getting to your team. You have to make sure that you actually do damage to them.
Fighting back. Is
yes.
What you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Rolling melee. It's a focus skill.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that means I always forget what that means.
It means that you have a bonus to it. That's why it's probably higher. I think it's a +3.
It means your difficulty is lower.
Okay.
Right. In other words, you would normally have penalties with so many, but that penalty's reduced.
Okay. So and this is straight melee. It's not like I'm doing a magical skill.
Right.
So
should be a lot higher. Is it, does granite skin make you stronger, or is that no? No, it doesn't.
It does. Oh, yes,
it does. Okay.
Bod
it gives me
like
my
30.
bod goes +6.
Right.
No,
Okay.
My full body magical armor is 65 though. Okay. So that's pretty high because the bod actually made it go up. The synergy bonus really helped.
Yes, it did. All right, so you've got multiple enemies, some of them from crashing into that barrier directly ahead of you. You can see that it causes them a certain amount of pain when they come through, but it doesn't always stop them. You can see anything that they use as projectiles is immediately reflected, but they come over the top of that. Now you have multiple enemies that are standing in front. You actually supersede all their particular combat, so you've got 1, then 2, and then you have a group of 3 coming your way. So unless you want me to describe how it's defensible, you can go ahead and just tell me what you do in that sense. You actually have them at this point.
So can you, using your hands again, can you describe the orientation?
You have 1 coming up in front. It's going to be more like this. I'll do it reversed for you. So it's coming up this way, then directly behind, and then 3 behind them.
And I can defend or attack how many?
You're just defending, so you basically get to smash every one of these things as they come in to your range.
Okay. So I think the first thing I'd want to do is let's see. Give me a second.
Hit one with another one.
I mean, I'm strong enough now. I could probably do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that sounds good. I'm gonna try getting my fist embedded in one of them, and then using its momentum to spin around and hit the second one, and then kind of bull rush into the 3 to kind of topple them.
All right. So you basically thrust your fist forward. You see a mouth immediately appear right here, and it clamps down on your hand. You go boom like that. You just grin because you can feel the teeth and the pressure, but it does nothing. And you're just you just grab a hold of the tongue on the inside, whirl around, and then you just start rushing into them.
Oh, that's gross.
You can hear
reaction too. It's like ugh.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're just like boom like that, but you end up basically hurtling into the other of them. There's not a lot they can do. They were rushing straight forward, and it's just an indecisive attack. And so you go bowling into them, and they fall like bowling pins after that. When you come crushing down, of course, you crush down, causing it to convulse or in and around. You stand up. You haven't gone far because you guys were meeting in the middle. So you're still close, and you don't want to drift too far away, defensively speaking. But it does cause a bit of a domino effect in behind them as they come rushing forward again, which now it's your actual attack.
Okay. So first I'll roll for my rune.
Yep.
Eric's gonna go to high-five you for your strike and accidentally high-five your face.
Oh my god.
Okay. Let's try this. So I'm gonna try for my, let's see. So I'm in the front. So I definitely want to do something. So I'm going to activate the rune after I smash. So you guys see another rune go on. And yes, she is now immune to mundane kinetic damage. Just immune. So
Oh my god!
I don't know how to describe that, but
Well, actually,
like,
there's
what does
it,
it
all
look
it's,
like?
along the marbling of the granite and the rest of it. There's just kind of this pulse for a minute, and then you can feel, instead of looking like your smoother features, it's like you have these incredibly fine scales that just go all the way throughout, bolstering the parts of your body and allowing them to become even more reinforced. But they're like interlocking plates, and they're perfected, meaning that they can bend and flex, especially in the areas where you would normally have weaknesses, like under the joints and everything else. They all become galvanized and become this, so you almost look serpentine at this point. And even your hair has become into thick plates, where they become just sort of like larger rings of bone almost, but it's stonework instead.
So yeah, that happens. What exactly is directly in front of me that I can attack?
You still have a mob of enemy forces coming your way.
I'm just gonna leap into them, just like.
Yep.
I'm gonna use taijutsu actually, yeah. I got just jujitsu actually, so I'm just gonna go into them, and just fucking melee brawl. Like,
All right.
just what I need the roll to just
Roll your
mayhem.
You just roll either your martial art or your melee, whichever one's better.
My martial art, my melee is better actually.
So,
oh man,
Ken,
what a great counter!
Ken, when you said my ham,
Oh god. No.
Oh, I rolled in the wrong place. But that was 32.
32?
Actually, oh, I forgot. I have melee master.
Mm-hmm. Which means you can do 2 attacks, I believe.
Oh yes. So yeah, she's gonna be striking one group and striking another.
Damn it, God. Jesus.
You're killing
Damn
me.
it! 32 and 34, got it. Shit. Alright, okay.
Nice. 2 very strong attacks.
Yes, they were.
Ooh. You knocked
All right.
the record into a different song.
Yep. So, right. At this point, do you mind if I just describe the variations of your movements? Does it matter? Because you're basically
yeah.
plowing
Go for
right
it.
through them. They don't...
Yeah. I'm Juggernaut, bitch!
Well, so Riv takes off from the left side, from your from the left flank, charging into this group. Now, of course, what she does is she bends forward, allowing her shoulders to hunch, but she's moving at such a speed with that run, you can hear the clacking of her heavy-weighted density against that stonework, even through her boots. You can imagine it rather, because there's still a lot of noise. She hits that first wave, scattering 6 or 7 of them in the first major run. They just come bouncing off of her like she was a freight train.
Nice.
Whenever they try to crowd in, sweeping strikes start coming out as she ends up delivering multiple more. You can see them crunching underneath, being trampled by the other forces that are coming over that. And she does hammer strike right after that, sending one crunching into the ground, and starts using that thing, kind of lifting it up. She ends up burying her fist, her fingers into the collarbone area, and hoisting it up as if it had bone structure there, and just using that to batter aside the various enemies that are in place. Yep.
So when the barbarian uses the paladin as a sword.
Yeah. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. She's screaming out. I think
she's
got
gone
a lot of power going through her right now.
Full berserker, especially given the fact that every single blow that comes up on her, there are claws, there are teeth. She ends up getting hit by one who tries to bite her in the back of the head with this enormously oversized mouth. You can hear bones break on the back of her skull, and she doesn't even notice. It just kind of falls off to the side because she doesn't even drift over. She just gives a shake like that, and starts pounding harder into the enemy at this point.
God damn. I've never overloaded that ability, so that's fun.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she's got the mutant's ability of invulnerability right now. That's basically what she's encountered at this point. Fucking love that shit. All right. So, Colt, you're up next inside of this group. You've got Dravis basically firing at will into the group that is, or into the hordes that are trying to come this way.
So we have three personalities. So let's go with the general for tactics.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to direct people.
Right. I'm assuming that he's doing that in background. Your immediate action group is the one that I'm interested in.
Okay. So he's doing that background. So because I was going to use him as a melee.
Yep.
Because I have three melee attacks.
Well, you could do that anyway with the other two that are actually in the fray, because the general is kind of staying back and watching the fight overtake and coordinating with Violet to make sure your lines don't crumble or that there's other problems.
Hey.
Yeah, without the general there, we'd actually have a lot more people to deal with.
John's got like all cocked back like this. His fingers are kind of tingling like this, and you see like energy just generating. It's like, hey, bastard, don't fuck this up. And as he does that, he brings his arms up, and then he flourishes to the line of enemies in front of him. And because it worked so well the last time, he dealt with Avrothrol's like minion horde.
Mm-hmm.
He casts basically an entropy curse on them.
Right.
So as they're rushing forward, their inherent energy that they're expending is basically creating a field of energy that basically magnetizes them.
You're talking about the you're basically enhancing friction.
Yep.
Did you say magnetize or magmatize?
Magma.
Liquid hot.
Magma.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I was like, wait, what? Because it could work either way.
All right.
God damn it, Drew.
I was waiting for it. I didn't have to say a word. Anyway, yeah, so you just roll a difficulty 8 to cast that spell, see what we get.
Okay.
In regular chat, not OOC chat.
Damn it. Fuck you.
A19.
Go fuck yourself. And
D19.
Okay, so fail 1, target 8, E10.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's do target 8, not target 9.
The drums in this song is just Dravis's rate of fire.
Yeah, right.
More or less.
So
Hey,
2
that's
results.
Nice. That's good enough. Did you write down what your damage is like when you're doing your spells? Because I believe it's going to be upwards in the 80s, 90s whenever they start suffering from it.
Yeah, let's go with that. We haven't really pinned that one down.
I've pinned it down to with like each session we've asked about it. It's because it relates to. God damn it! It's
On point to those gifs tonight.
They're in my favorites. I've had them chambered all week.
shit almighty. All right, so
I can't even. Sorry, magic.
again, so
it's
it
the
is.
bastard's way of casting spells.
Yeah, it. What disciplines did you use?
So he used forces and prime.
Okay.
So 3 forces, 2 prime.
Right, so that's 50 right there, plus your will, which is 10, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then we have the 2 successes, which is another 10 on top of that. So that's 70 points of damage.
Yeah.
That's how it all adds together. Write this down, so that way we know what it is, because, or at least get the formula down, because it's each rank, like it's 10 points with all of the, per rank of the magic that you're using, with like 10 times whatever the result, plus your will.
Okay, so Entropy Curse is Forces 3 plus
Either way, that's quite a lot.
2 plus degrees of success.
Well, you basically summon up the energy, your whole body kind of undulates for a second as the power ripples forward from where you're standing. There is this sudden immediate point. They impact the same Vord shield, or Vord. You can tell I've been reading a lot of Codex Alera. But the same kind of void-like shield that's actually in front still does some damage to them as they come rippling through. And when they come through that and just a little bit behind them, maybe about 30, 40 feet behind that, they start to, the heat starts to char their bodies as they start moving through. They don't slow down. They don't do anything else. The friction of their movements is counterbalanced in a god-awful way, causing them to burn and like slough ash and smoke off as they are coming forward, doing ridiculous damage. Most of the ones that even come through the shield start to crumple with that same sort of ashen smoke, and the rest of it just kind of burning out before they get there. And some of them even ignite towards the back. Even though screaming, you can see those gaping, chomping maws kind of like trying to get at anything that's possible, even in their own death, as they continue to kind of like falter and crumble out in front. So at least you've got some more like area damage kind of affecting that point. What's your next move?
So the bastard who's out in the front going just basically what the fuck. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oi! Are you gonna leave anything for me? No, John. Are you sure you're done? Are you sure you don't want to have another go? Maybe.
As you're talking, right there in the middle of all that, there are multiple explosions that hit nearby, causing heat waves and shuddering shocks to go over the group. And there's like plumes of mushroom smoke that comes up after that point, deafening everything out of your speech.
So as he's doing that, John picks it up because, you know, they're linked. So John takes the energy that's created from the friction.
Mm-hmm.
So he's drawing the heat from the explosions, from the friction curse, from everything that's happening in the immediate environment. He's drawing in the natural occurring things that have happened from all the effects.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just chanting. It's like, oh, you want to see something, you fucking little shit. And he's just swirling like almost like a fire tornado.
Right.
And it's like coalescing, and then as he does this, he goes, Hadouken, bitch. And then he unleashes a fire tornado in the direction of the enemy.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, you have this pyroclastic cyclone that's going to be whirling out. Go ahead and roll to make it happen, sir. It's going to be a difficulty 7 because you're using the resources already available.
Okay, thank you. We're going to use 7 Arete for this.
I love that one.
Okay, 3 degrees of success.
All right, that's way awesome. So that means you're doing about 80 damage, if I'm assuming that to be correct.
Correct.
All right. Yeah, 80 persistent damage as long as you maintain it with concentration. So this thing just whips up, and you can see it coiling and bobbing and weaving, and it just starts getting through the main points where you're shifting over, you know, following along. You're directing it at your goal, and pushing it forward into the enemy troops. It is both causing them to crowd inward as there is an obvious influx of air, and then they are, you know, burning terribly as they get caught up in the waves of this thing. And you're keeping that suction away from your group as much as possible, leading them out. They're having to bowl outward to stay away from that range to try and come in, so you're causing a massive deflection. Alright, gotta see about the next phase here. Are you Are you out of attacks at this point, or do you have one more?
I have one more.
Okay, go for it.
So, the general is going to use reality warp.
Okay.
Ooh, fancy.
Let me scroll down. His ability is reality warp. The odds are in our favor. Level 3. So let's go to mechanics. Sorry, gotta go through my scroll sheet.
Meanwhile, while he is doing that, because this is the thing about these kinds of fights, is that they are nuts. There is this. It's not close enough to you guys to actually do a direct counter, but you see a massing of these strange, these horrific images, these clones. They start to push together, and you can see them sliding into each other like they're penetrating flesh and just becoming larger until you actually find one that is standing almost 35 feet up. And it does this massive downward strike, not where you guys are standing, just in the general vicinity. You're able to see to your left the massive firing line going across. There's still penetrating fire happening constantly.
That's awesome.
But it does this natural hitting impact. It shudders everything, and I just need everybody to make a balance check.
Balance?
Because, yep.
Fuck yeah.
Damn it, you're making me go to another spreadsheet.
Yep.
Dodge, okay.
No, not dodge. You're going to need athletics or acrobatics, whichever one you have higher. Or you just roll straight up.
35 athletics.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so 1d10. Very good, Bill.
Well,
Wrong channel.
Yeah, fuck the straight off.
Like, can Barrick just use his little foot anchors and just like clamp?
He's got the polymorphic tread, so that gives him a bonus.
I'm gonna
for
reroll
sure.
that.
All right.
I'm gonna go for a 44.
It's funny. One of my advantages is cat-like balance.
Oh,
and
yeah.
yet I still roll the 1.
I mean, dice are dice, man. They get mad sometimes.
You gotta test them. Did you test them out properly?
It gave me a bunch of high rolls earlier, so.
Oh, so it's a trick. What is that?
Trader dice.
A trader dice, yeah.
Except for it's not quite trader dice, because they usually give you really high rolls for shit you don't need, and then like really crap when you need it.
Oh, that's better. So, 23 plus 6.
Yep. In this case, anybody who can push past like a 26 will actually remain standing.
Well, not all the personalities.
And definitely not Ivar.
Doesn't Ivar just levitate?
Ivar is in his own like magical world right now.
I like how Drew's like actively trying to make this harder.
Bill?
He's like, you know what? We're fighting all these things. Let's make it harder.
Bill, I have to give you a certain sense of congratulation. I don't know if you're aware of this, but given the fact that Avrathral is a single entity, despite being multiple, this actually works.
Yeah. General's going to be doing something.
All right. General's not going to be affected by this, by the way. He's too far
Okay.
back.
800
Great.
general now.
I'm still listening, so let me know when.
Okay. All right. Well, who crashes over? I know Ivor must have fallen, right?
Ivar had a 10, so he must have fallen over.
He just rolled a 10 and that was it?
No, he rolled
10
3.
total? Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, 10 total.
Yeah, so he's gonna hit ground like that. Nothing superfluously injurious, but he'll be all right. But it means he'll have to get back up from where he's at. He's kind of knocked down. These fucking gifs, man, they're killing me. All right. So that thing gets proceeded on. You see multiple points of fire hit that creature that just emerged. There's actually a rocket that goes screaming across the top of the battlefield, making raw impact. There's a blast of heat and a shockwave. Riv feels it the worst, but she just kind of like feels it. Anyway,
Right. There's
she basically
pressure.
her hair blows back a little bit, and she's kind of like this. But you can see the explosion just tear this thing apart. Its head kind of lands into the mound of the other enemies, and then the upper body just kind of disintegrates with one arm flopping into the group on the other side. The legs just crumple forward in this massive explosion of ichor.
Ew. That's in character. Ew.
Yeah. I gotta see here. Okay, so the other weird thing that starts to happen is that the enemies that are nearby with the rest of it, they start to like swirl and whirl on each other, creating attacks. They become confused. Yep.
In its confusion, it hurt itself.
Yeah, actually. They start to attack one another, become rabid. They attack anything that gets close to them.
They're just like frenzied.
Yeah, they're kind of going bananas. Their focus on everyone here has like stopped for a minute. And it just becomes this massive undulating combat amongst itself. And that would be the general's work doing the job, as it were. So you still have these like condensed pockets of enemies that are a threat, but they're no longer focused on your guys' intrusion inward. Ooh, okay. Alright.
Oh, brah!
No, not that one, this one. Alright, so you still got the gunfire going over the top. You have Firestorm chipping in. It's just sort of like, fire team, this looks like it's going pretty well, but we're going to have to start quelling these numbers. He's still producing them, even though, what is happening? And so, to give you an idea, the general was successful in creating some kind of horrorscape to whatever would terrify Everthrall, because you can't generate in your mind what would terrify it or what would you consider a hellscape for it. But either way, it starts to self-produce, and you can see the forces of the enemy become completely scattered internally and start fighting one another on an excessive and brutal level. However, the point where they are beginning to undulate, you do take note that there are multiple points where they are producing. So they are still funneling out of wherever these core points are, but they're not as effective as they were a moment ago. So they become rabid and absolutely ruthless, but they're not focused on the soul group that's coming through at this point. So now we have, I believe that was your last one, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, Scott, you're kind of going to be center formation near where Dravis is. You can shift your position between left and right-hand sides or left and right-hand flanks as Dravis is basically driving the team through and making sure that things go smoothly. Now, and you also remember that there are two groups, five-member teams of those shock troops that are actually walking behind, sort of creating a sort of a wedge shape, but they're fanned out towards the rear to kind of make sure that you guys don't get flanked on the side. So they're kind of keeping everything clean that way, so you can focus straight forward. So it's up to you, man. You can basically lay down the fire, or you can try something crazy. There's a lot of magic rolling around, too.
Well, I was going to say, I think with this target-rich opportunity we have here, target-rich environment, I'm going to go plasma.
Yes.
And
Let's slag some people.
The GM is happy.
and yeah, so first I'm gonna, activate the reflex and the arcane capacitor. So.
Shit.
He's gonna beef it up.
Yep.
Technology and magic combined.
Yep. Oh boy.
We call it Magitech.
Yep.
And just all of them. Just here we go. He's in War Machine mode. So. All right. So. I gotta find the. Okay, so the adrenal booster. D6 plus 2 bumps my reflex up for the next 4 rounds.
Yep.
So I'm now to reflex 11. And then the arcane capacitor.
Did you say your arcane decatheter?
No.
Arcane capacitor. Target 7, so we'll check. And I get a free bonus because I have, or a free win because I have
Yep.
Iron Will.
Yep. Get an automatic success.
And I get.
Oh.
Shit!
Jesus Christ! Holy
Well.
shit!
So my target is 7.
Yeah.
So 1, 2.
You got
3,
7
4,
successes. That
5,
that
6,
result
7.
is correct.
And I get a free success, so 8 successes.
Fuck.
Wow, you got some goodwill this time.
Not only
So-
that, but that boosts into like his arcane capacitor, like everyone else's mystical abilities, like funnels into the amount of impact he has.
Yeah. So anyway, that's why I was doing all the war
Accurate.
gifts, because that's basically
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yep.
and I'm gonna do two rounds of 30.
Yeah, you're just full bursting.
Yeah. All right, I gotta figure out what my attack is. Okay, so the first. So D10 plus 42 gets me a 46. That's like the first one.
Yep.
And the second one.
Fine by me. And because they're en masse like this, it's almost impossible for them to dodge, and they've got penalties on top of it because of the general's overcast reality glamour. All right.
So what my arcane capacitor power says is each success is plus 10 arcane damage applied to that bullet.
Yeah. And they're already what? 30? What was it? 36 a bolt?
60.
60 a bolt?
So
Oh,
Yeah.
it's 80 plus damage.
yeah, it's
Jeez.
140 damage per bolt.
He's sending 60 of those out.
Yeah. Yep.
Yikes.
What? So Barrick just is calmly walking behind Dravis, who's like laying down, covering fire, managing all this stuff amidst all the chaos. Right after the explosion happens, and they all go berserk, he ends up coming forward and just kind of starts laying out these like massive rifts of fire. Of course, whenever he just does it, you just hear this like he can feel it and you can still almost barely hear it. Just as that like that as it kicks off. And then there's this sort of like illuminated mist and all that circuitry lights up and it goes into the weapon
Yep.
itself, kind of like lighting up that capacitor, and you just lay
Well, I'm just drawing
waste.
in all this,
Yeah. It's just coming
nice
right in.
arcane energy laid down by Colt.
Yep. And you end up doing swaths like a scythe over fucking grain. Just
Synergy.
yeah.
Synergy.
Yeah, in fact, the way, like, to everybody else, you can see the bolts themselves are piercingly bright compared to what they normally would be. It's like he's sending in miniature suns, and because of the sheer amount of damage that he's putting across, he's killing rows of 2, 3, and even 4 per bolt as they go flying into the mob. Grand total, he kills several hundred enemies with those 2 swaths. And they just come crumpling down. They just fall flat. Like he's just pushing it across dominoes. Even over comms, Dravis is like, holy fuck! Like, he can't fucking believe it.
And the general in the background's going, God damn, son, I gotta use you in 42.
I believe you have ranged master, so you use those 2 up in that that one swathing point.
Yeah, that was I did both of those attacks at once. Yeah.
Yep. As you're completing the last strafing shot, You guys see multiple flyers going over the top of these crazed Avathral minions. They are both angel and demonic alike, just cutting into swaths. There is a subtle crack to the far right-hand side as something happens. Those of you who are in the action right now can't necessarily see what it is. It's, like hovering just out of sight and like behind some of the forces, and the rest of it, it's also lower. So it's harder to determine exactly what's going on. You can still see a presence of something happening, but it's definitely something happening over there on the far right-hand side from where you guys left the lines. So you hear that shockwave go across. These flyers are coming up over the top. You actually see one of these demonic entities come flying and then plummeting out of the air, crashing into some of them and then up into a roll. And he's a bigger demonic force. Right? He's a bigger demonic force. He seems to have like his wings are like heavily damaged, but he doesn't seem to notice. Massively muscled. He's got this extraordinarily long broadsword that he's got in his one hand, and it is smoking from the hilt from where he's got it gripped around it. You can see the silvery blade definitely has that sort of heavenly allure to it. And he just looks at where you guys are at, kind of gives a smile, sees Riv still pummeling the shit out of all the enemies that she can get her hands on, and basically not feeling anything they do to her at the moment. And he just looks over at you, like, raises the sword in basically a salute, and then just kind of like looks over to where Riv's at, does a shrug of a shoulder, and starts following behind, like, further to her left and further to you guys is 9 o'clock, and just starts cutting into some of the enemies there. Oh my god.
That's what I was imagining when he laid that fire down.
Yeah.
I swear to God that's familiar. What's that from, Ken?
Evangelion.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. God damn, horrifying. Alright. You end up basically retracting fire there, Barrick, feeling quite proud of yourself, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's actually, it is... Things. Yeah, the fucking end of the plasma ejector is actually, like, smoking and red for sure.
He's just gonna, like, thanks, Travis.
And it's just sort of like, no fucking problem. He starts moving forward like that, just kind of keeping his weapon out since he managed to cut down the momentum of the enemy so harshly. All right, Ivar. One of the bots actually is going to come by and, like, help you up onto your feet. But nothing seemed to have happened at that point besides that, but your hallucinations have definitely picked up into a strange way.
Here's my question.
Dead mom that picked up him.
What's outweighing things right here? Is his danger sense outweighing the hallucinations, or hallucinations still winning?
Well, the hallucinations are there, but your danger sense is definitely overlapping it rather severely. Yeah.
Okay. So Ivar can almost snap out of it for a moment, and he's just like...
Yeah, even according to my own percentile dice, they rolled 15, so yeah.
Yeah, Ivar's looking around like, oh shit, what is going on here? And he sees everything, and he can sense where the danger is. The biggest danger coming from those coordinated, targeted zone. Would he generally be able to say, like, let me pinpoint my danger?
I love fucking Genos, dude.
Nice.
Your danger sense is flickering like a candle flame between its maximum and its like level below, and it's flickering all around in all these different sections all over the place, depending on where like where the danger might be closest.
Ivar kind of reaches over comms and goes, General, are you there? General.
It's like, wow, son, about time you called. Are you ready to employ those, shall you say, big guns of yours?
General, do we have any artillery that you can dedicate that's near me and dedicate it towards the main target? I think I can help you out some.
Well, son, don't you say just a pleasant thing to my mind. Well,
let me know when you're ready. I'm going to prepare something to give a big boom. Let me know when you're ready.
Do me a favor. Touch John so I know what you're thinking.
And what Ivar is thinking of doing is taking that lovely see which one is it. It's his bubble of reality, where he makes things grow, that he normally puts in front of barracks guns. He's going to put it in front of the artillery.
So so I'll describe this. As Ivar touches John, John goes, "Oh, fuck." As the general goes, "All right, good boy, John." And you just hear this guttural, "Fuck you!" As basically Ivar links up through John to the general for tactical overlay.
Mm-hmm.
So the general can see all the picture for the artillery. And as such, through John, Ivar sees it to overlay his ability.
Nice.
It's a chain reaction. Ivar wants to make as much of the artillery shoot through his bubble expander and aim it not at the minions, aim it at the main target itself.
Through the general's vision of tactical appreciation.
You've got Violet who comes in. She's just sort of like, I don't know what you're planning, but I do have on the nav point here exactly where we might be. She's got like the gunfire rattling off in the background. She's like, oh shit. And towards the right-hand side, everybody starts to get video feeds who actually have access to that kind of thing. The general, of course, will be able to feed it over in a way that's different from everyone else. But you see that this crazed version of Avrothrall in his original form comes slipping through. She's like, he must have cloned himself before he even started this fight. Damn it.
Well then, nuke both the fuckers.
No, hold on. Before Ivar does that, Ivar wants to do a tactical roll with his danger sense.
Do it.
And he wants to know if he can actually, in this flickering danger, almost get a glimpse of, no, that's where we aim.
Shoot him, he's the fake.
Yeah,
Make
Ivar
your
wants
roll.
to know.
Coin flip.
"17. Is Ivar, through tactics, able to hone in where he has a good guess of where we should aim?"
In part, it is due to your danger sense, but also in part to the fact that Void is supporting you, and a new threat, despite the fact, would probably be more distraction than anything else. You're willing to trust the instinct that the initial point of contact is the right one.
Okay.
So how's
what
the,
is
Use your medium.
No, the medium. How I've always used it is there's a whole ritual to get the medium to work.
so
it's
how
not.
so how's the general factoring in as to Ivar's targeting?
Well, in this particular case, you have certain artillery at your disposal. Basically, you realize that he's going to try and enhance it, but they're going to have to be at a certain safe distance, because that's the problem with artillery, is that you can probably hammer it down, but Avrothrall, up until this point, probably would have been able to juke, dodge, or shift the core of the situation before you were able to launch that kind of an attack. Because most of these creatures are psychic, that kind of tactic would have been very effective. But there is a good chance right now, while he is scrambled, that he won't move it for not realizing the fact that he's in threat.
Okay, thank you.
So this is traditionally a target 8. Because I'm trying to make it as big as possible. Is this going to go up to a larger target, or is it still remaining at target 8?
So your initial target is going to be this. You have several hundred yards through the teeming pile of enemies here. That is going to be sort of at your 1 to 1.5. So your 1.5 o'clock, wherever you want to put it in there, between your 1 and 2 o'clocks, there is a good zone where artillery can be focused. Here's the problem, is that the general will have to figure out how much artillery to send down. He is somewhat familiar with your enhancement of weaponry and its damage, but he'll have to be conservative with how much artillery he throws out, since if it turns out that something goes wrong, you've wasted the ammo, even though you've done serious damage to the troops, and you also put yourselves at risk for the amount of catastrophic damage you intend to put down.
So tactics. so tactics roll on the general's part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. 1d19.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, the funny thing is his tactics is 19. So you're welcome, Ken.
I like that.
Can I boost that?
Yes, of course you can.
Boost.
How much luck?
If you're re-rolling it, are you lucky or not lucky?
I'm lucky.
So-
reroll is 2, boost is 1.
Yep.
If you're lucky.
Reroll.
Boost. Let's do a reroll. So we'll just do a
Reroll
reroll.
it.
So it's just going to add whatever you roll here. Everybody's crossing their fingers for a 10.
Jesus.
23.
23.
Can I reroll again?
Yep. You can use your luck all at once if you wanted to.
Okay, so we're at 5. We're at 5 luck
All right.
at this point. Are you shitting me? We're
25.
Done.
25. Fuck it.
24.
Yeah, 24.
24.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Just
You could probably
5 luck.
easily administer up to an approximate 4. You could add 4 rockets to that if you were to center it out from the top of the AVs, launching them over the top and at the general zone area. If you were to launch several of the, like the grenade launchers are sketchy, but you could put 4 rockets in that definitive zone location once the enhancement's up, and that will probably be the proper amount based on your judgment.
Okay, then we'll go for that.
You're having Ivar blow up rockets.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why
Okay,
he
wait
was
for us
saying he
to end
needed
our
to have the
session.
proper safe zone.
Ivar's just sitting there. He goes,
Here's-
I get to blow up rockets?
Here's the trick. You've got a 200-foot radius, so what you're doing is you're creating an enhancement window that they pass through.
Correct.
Yep.
That's what he's always done. He's almost, instead of putting it over the barrel of Barrick's gun, he's putting it in front of the rocket launcher.
Right, he's going to put it where they sort of come close together. It's going to have to be as close to coordinated as you can get, so off you go.
I'm seeing it almost coordinated where it's like these little rockets are going out and all of a sudden it might be right as they come out or somewhere in their trajectory they hit through there and then keep going. Is the target still 8 or is it changed
It's
because
going to
of
be a
this?
target 9 right now because you don't know exactly when. You're waiting on timing. So you're going to try and time
Okay.
it together and get it to be just right to grab all rockets. That's good enough. Holy
no.
crap.
Fuck!
No. We are changing those 2 1s. We're boosting them up. I'm spending luck on that.
Yeah, that's 4 exploding dice. Good God.
Well, and see, the one on the other side that it might be accounting for doesn't count either, so...
Yeah, no, I'm getting rid of it. That's 4 degrees of success.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
And that leaves me with 3 degrees, 3 luck points left.
Yeah. So you're like, just open up your arms, and there's this kind of like faint shimmering, like
Or
a
rocket.
lens,
4 successes.
right? Pretty much. So you see the enhancement go up as the general. You can give out that word to fire because Violet doesn't know what she's looking for.
Let me know when you're ready, General.
Ivar, lay down hell.
And with that, Ivar just takes his hands and goes like this, and almost stands like Moses on the mountaintop.
All right. So fucking Rambo. Yeah. So he goes, yes, you basically funnel it through. You have these orc creatures that are holding on to these light anti-tank weapons, basically, but they're the small rocket launchers. They come crawling up to the vehicles. You can hear them like grumbling, and you can just hear them howling with absolute glee at this whole thing. They pop the thing over. You see one actually reading the instructions for a second, flips the thing over, and then pops it out. And then they all landed up, and then synchronized, they go like that. So from your standing point, you see these 4 rockets just launched. And they start to come close together just as they pass through the lens at the right angles that they all get snagged in the enhancement.
Nice.
there is this minor ripple point, and they all strike the zone with pretty implacable accuracy. Let me just make sure, though. None of them get shot down. One of them's going to use their luck here. That's good. Okay, yeah. Yeah, you guys see that like that. Luckily enough, even though they're firing into this chaos, there is no countermanding attack or counter defense that's employed by Aphrothral at this point. They miss some of the flyers that go across. You actually see one of the fallen angels go whipping like that with this rocket going right by it, and you guys realize that you may have died just from one of the angels flying over the top and hitting the rocket prematurely.
Just grab on and ride it in.
Oh my god. But they go skittering down. The explosion is like this massive quadra-popping intensity that nobody was really ready for. I need athletics checks because there is this vastly powerful concussive wave that hits everyone. What the F? How did that happen?
A bird flew through.
Ooh. Ooh.
That's a famous.
Yeah, for Randy Johnson.
That's how I saw
What's
it.
your athletics at, dude?
Mine?
Yeah.
35.
How's it so high?
I have a mod of 23.
Oh, okay.
So we're rolling another athletics.
Yeah, we are. So you have to
My
meet...
athletics is rank 8, and I have a bot of 23.
I'll do it.
Okay, let's see here.
My bot of 13 got
Does
me
help.
to 19,
Oh, and I gotta roll for...
and then I had the +3 for the at-like balance.
Yeah, he makes it. Okay.
I don't know why my athletics is so high. I think I thought I would use it more.
Well, you're using it now.
Alright.
True.
Yeah, you're way up there. Okay, so Colt, Dravis, and Colt and Dravis, along with that's it. That's all that make it. Everybody else gets knocked down. There are huge plumes of enemy forces being knocked into the air. General from up top, you get this experience of like a hot wave just going whoosh, going past you, even from this distance. You guys were well inside the safe zone, and you still felt the impact. There are collapsing corpses that are coming around the main group here, despite that. Wow, Ivar doesn't get hit by any of them.
Wait, did you say we got knocked down?
Yeah, Scott, you're up. Dravis is up, and I believe... Where's Colt?
3.
The 3?
Mm-hmm.
What's your total?
Wait, do you have no athletics?
No.
0?
Wait, but what's your body, though?
Oh,
Or your
body
reflex or whatever. Yeah, I guess it's not just a D10. It's a D10 plus, I believe, his reflex, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Or
Well,
body.
never mind.
It's based on the skill.
Yeah, it's based off the skill. My skill is... When I look at the athletics, I don't have any points in athletics.
Right, but you should still be able to put a 0 in there. And...
7. It'd be 7.
Okay. So my athletics is 7, so I have a total of 11. So
Right.
give me a second.
Oh, still probably not a good roll.
Right, so we
No,
got a
he's
14.
down there with Ivar.
14.
14, okay, yeah, that would make more sense. I was like, 3, that's... Alright, yeah, so you guys get all knocked down. There's a horrendous screeching noise that also follows right after that, but it looks like most of the screech was blotted out by by the actual explosion. And...
Bodies are dropping.
yeah, they were falling out of the air like raindrops.
How big did those rockets become? Like, were like ICBMs?
They became dangerously deadly to your group, like almost that much, just because of
Like
the
if I had internal organs, they would be worried about shock.
yeah. There could have been some serious problems.
I just see Ivar going, my liver!
It's like a pacemaker for everything. Shock it back into place.
There is this massive wailing pause as all of the groups of clones vaporize for just a minute, but slowly starting to kind of erupt away like this into a smoky kind of ash. And then there is this call out. Looks like you guys were correct. And then you can just hear a defiant shouting scream coming from Averthral. Despite that, General, right as that happens, there is a break of the reality manipulation that occurs right after the impact of that explosion as you realize that Averthral takes back control. Unfortunately, it is also 10-10, and I have to hold it right there.
Well, we just got through phase 1 of the boss fight.
More or less.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's when the Latin music
whole
starts.
changes
with the-
from blue to red.
Yeah.
Oh, we
God.
defeated the shield.
I like the meme of person's like, I beat the boss. I barely have it. And it's like the Latin music starts. The organ music starts. It has Latin lyrics. Like,
Oh my god. Yeah, no. Alright.
So exactly what did we achieve?
You won't know until you get a sit rep after the fact. You've done something, because you've cleared the entire horde at least once, but Averthral is not dead. Wounded, probably, but not dead.
How much damage did we do with those missiles?
Well, with 4 success, see, the way that damage works for explosives is inverted in a lot of ways. You take maximum damage at the zero, like at the maximal point, or at the
Yeah, and then it works its way out.
right, and then it drops as you go out, out, out. So, but you managed to strike it out. Roughly speaking, you guys did over 1,500, maybe even close to 2,000 damage with that hit.
Yeah.
What the hell is this?
Contra
It's
3,
surprisingly
man.
easy. It's
It's like I say, it's lots to get lyrics.
it's not the progression. Okay, so while I have you here, before Bill, you leave, I need everyone to open this link and just enjoy.
All right.
No.
No, I think I've seen this.
You got him.
If-
If you want to get this last chip.
Oh no.
No.
There you go. Push on through there.
Pringle.
Reach down here and grab
I'm trying.
me. I'm the last one.
I'm trying.
I
Pringles.
taste the best.
Oh. God, Ken.
Are you wearing your class ring?
Yeah.
Slip that thing off.
Okay.
It'll help you get deeper down in here.
Okay. I'll get.
For fuck's sake, Ken.
Can you smell
for
my
the very
sour
end.
cream and onion?
Yeah, I can.
I'm so dusty.
Uh,
I taste so freaking good.
yeah.
You're much better at this than your dad.
Thank you.
His chimp knuckles couldn't fit halfway in the can.
Oh God.
He never got to taste this.
Uh,
But you? You're doing great.
The squelching.
what in the world?
I love the taste of my own dust.
Oh,
Why don't you
now
put me
once we
down and
watch
let
Hell
one
in
of
the
your
Box.
brothers or sisters try to get me?
okay.
You were close. I'm sure you can get me to.
Wasn't that good?
Okay, Mr. Pringle.
Okay.
A
This
little
is why I like
the,
Japanese Pringles that have the lift in them.
Well, thank you, Ken, for
your
finding
nightmares.
for something that's fucking disturbing.
Best part is that the stream got to hear that and see it.
Oh, my cheeks hurt from smiling too much. Oh.
This was a good session, man.
That was good. That was a good phase 1. We did a lot of damage.
What happened to Riv?
She was actually
went-
kind of like halfway
ran.
knocked over, but she just kind of like stood up and just kind of like looked around, going like, "What's the problem?"
Yeah. D, what I'm gunning for when it's my turn next round, next week,
It will be your turn
Uh,
next when we start again too.
Yeah, I'm just gunning for rolling on 1. If I can roll 1 for my runes, I get super strength.
Oh. Mwah. Chef's kiss to
and I was
that.
telling,
Arm out.
yeah,
Just start running.
I
Windmill,
actually
bitch.
want to see. I want to see Riv get super strength and then just pick up Aberthrall and just body slam him.
Well, and so here's the best part. If I can roll it again and I get another one, so just so you guys know, when I get super strength, I get plus 20 on my body, which is insane. If I roll it again and I get the overload, I get plus 20 again. So I double it, and it goes for 1d6 rounds. But that's insane. I'd be able to just like crush. It's like throat.
Yeah. Well,
At this point, I could be used as a kinetic missile, though. Like, if someone was strong enough, they could just heave me in there and I'd be fine.
this is true. Very true.
That's one of the other things I'm hoping to get is wings. Because if I can get wings, I'll just start body slamming people.
Yeah.
Like that, pretty much.
DDTs make me so uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
They are both
Rail driver,
dangerous
all of
and slightly gay.
Well, you can see what he's doing, though. He's
Oh, yeah. That's
holding
how
the
you-
blow with his knees.
Well, he's not just
Yeah.
holding. The other guy's also gripped around his waist so that he has like something stable to work with.
And
Yeah,
moving
he's
his
holding
head
them
forward.
up.
Yeah.
It's very dangerous,
I mean,
though.
it's
I mean,
still
that's...
gonna-
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's not done right. You hurt somebody. That was just a fun.
paralyzed, you know.
That was a fun encounter.
So
Done yet.
well, and for the notes taker with the mechanical aspects of it, so everybody has a turn, but because of the chaos, I'm rolling percentiles. I'm rolling percentiles at each time there's an action or a round. So if you have multiple actions, I'm usually rolling like subsets to find out exactly what might change the environment or the terrain or the combat in that whole motion. And it just happens so. And then in between each person's turn, there's another major change that I roll on, whether it be terrain or a huge influx of enemies or something breaks through, and it fluctuates from being positive to negative depending on the circumstances. So lower is better, higher is worse. That fun business. Just operating with those grounds. But that's just
No, but it works really well in just how things popped up really quickly and become a real quick clusterfuck.
Yep.
But I think we did really well in just the rolls. I mean, Ken jumping in early on was just great.
Yeah.
Just great. Like, just that's straight up Riv right there. I'm going in, and then the cult kind of holding things together with different aspects, and the glamour was a beautiful pace, and then Barracks just, I'm gonna rain fucking fire down on you.
Yeah, talk about a casualty
And
rate.
I almost see Barrack. It looks like he's firing in utter chaos, but every bullet is hitting perfectly in the same spot on every single one.
Basically, yeah, he's aiming to do serious damage. He's not just firing, he's not spray and pray, even though that would be most other gunmen. Yeah.
No, but it's like everybody's getting hit right between the eyes.
Yeah.
Wow. The meme that I posted was so vulgar, it would actually give the image. So click on that link.
Wow. Jesus.
My God. Well, to those who are watching, thanks for doing so, and we'll see you next week. Oh, man.